Welcome to Money Clearly, the podcast that explains everyday money without the mystery. I'm Bridget Gale, and each week we break down the money questions that come up in real life, at work, at the bank, and at home, so you can understand what's actually happening with your money. Last episode, we talked about how timing, not discipline, is often the real source of money stress. Today, we're picking up right there. We're talking about cash flow smoothing in practice, what it looks like when that timing pressure actually starts to ease. Once you understand that timing was the problem, a new question shows up. Okay, then what? The idea of money moving in and out without constant tension can sound almost unreal, like something that works on paper, but not in real life. Too smooth, too good to be true. You start wondering what that would even feel like. Not holding your breath when an automatic payment clears, not having one unexpected expense force a compromise somewhere else, not checking and rechecking just to make sure nothing falls apart. It almost sounds like it can only belong in someone else's life. The idea that money could come in, money could go out, and you wouldn't have to stay on alert the whole time just to keep things from bouncing or breaking. It makes sense if part of you doesn't quite trust that picture yet. You've learned to stay alert for a reason. You've learned that things can tip quickly, that one mistimed expense can ripple through everything else. So of course, the idea of calm feels unfamiliar. Of course, it feels like something you'd have to constantly protect. You might even catch yourself thinking, that sounds nice, but I don't live in a world where money just behaves. That hesitation isn't pessimism. It's experience. It's what happens when you've spent a long time managing pressure instead of relief. Wanting things to feel steadier doesn't mean you're unrealistic. It means you're tired of living on alert. When timing pressure is high, ordinary moments don't stay ordinary. A car repair costs what it costs, but without room around it, the stress spreads. One expense spills into the rest of the month. Groceries feel tighter. Gas feels less flexible. Everything else feels more fragile because of that one moment. An annual bill arrives and immediately takes over the calendar. Not because it's a surprise, but because it lands all at once and demands attention right now. Paychecks end up shaping the week. The same grocery trip feels different depending on the date. Small, routine choices carry extra weight depending on when they happen. An unexpected medical copay doesn't stay contained. It can create ripple stress, worry about what comes next, what might need to wait, what could tip if something else shows up. A school or a kid expense arrives and feels destabilizing, even though it's part of normal life. When timing pressure is high, a single disruption rarely stays single. It's like a line of dominoes. When one expense hits at the wrong moment, it doesn't just fall on its own. It tips into everything that comes after it. One payment leads to another adjustment. One adjustment leads to another worry. Not because the expenses are unusual, but because there's no space for the impact to stop. Now imagine those same moments, same costs, same responsibilities, but without the pressure stacking up. The car repair gets handled and the rest of the month keeps going. The annual bill arrives and doesn't derail anything else. Groceries and gas feel routine instead of date dependent. A medical copay gets paid without causing ripples. A school expense feels ordinary instead of disruptive. When something goes wrong, it stays contained. It's like a domino falling and realizing the whole line doesn't go with it. Before, everything stood so close that one tip knocked into the next. But now there's space. One domino falls and the rest stay standing. And as that happens, something else starts to change. Those chain reactions, where one expense quietly triggers another, stop happening. When something gets pushed, it no longer knocks everything else over. That constant state of alert, the background checking, the quiet bracing, begins to fade. Not all at once, but enough to notice. You're not watching every transaction. You're not waiting for the next collapse. The shift isn't dramatic, it's subtle. From tension to ease. From vigilance to trust. From managing every moment to finally exhaling. What makes that difference isn't willpower. It's structure. And the structure is intentional. In the moments you just imagined, the chain of dominoes didn't disappear. It changed. Life still applied pressure. Expenses still showed up. But instead of every hit traveling straight through the rest of the month, there were places where that impact stopped or took a different path. That's what structural alignment means. Structural alignment means looking at when money comes in and when it goes out, and arranging those flows so they interact more smoothly instead of colliding in stressful ways. The goal isn't perfection. It's reducing the number of moments where everything hits at once. One way you can work on structural alignment is to find out when your paycheck comes in and when your bills are due, and look at those dates. In our last episode, your assignment was to notice the dates. If you've done that, you should be able to see, are my structures aligned? When the money comes in and the money goes out, is it in a pattern that's helping me or causing me more stress? Additionally, there are two supports that also help create those breaks in the chain. Those are your emergency funds and your sinking funds. An emergency fund is money set aside to absorb surprises or timing gaps, so unexpected needs don't immediately disrupt the rest of your finances. When something unexpected happens, it has somewhere to land instead of knocking into everything else. A sinking fund is money set aside ahead of time for known future expenses, so they don't all demand attention at once or feel like emergencies when they arrive. Those predictable moments take a side path instead of running straight through the month. Together, these three structures don't stop the dominoes from falling, but they stop one fall from becoming a collapse. Pick one upcoming pressure point this month and ask, is this stressful because of the amount or because of the timing? Look at that moment and see if it's something that you could have changed the date on so that it could align better with your money flow. Is it something that was an emergency, that if you had an emergency fund, you would have been able to absorb it? Or is it an irregular expense, something that a sinking fund should take care of. No fixing required yet. Awareness only. Thanks for listening to Money Clearly. And as always, hearing what's confusing helps me know what to cover in future episodes. In the next episode, we'll talk about what happens when you look back at your bank statement and why confusion there is normal, even when your money is starting to feel calmer. New episodes come out weekly. And until next time, take care of your money so it can take care of you. This podcast is for educational purposes only and isn't financial advice. Always consider your own situation or talk to a qualified professional before making financial decisions.